Okay, there are 5 positions to the C major pentatonic scale, or boxes, as you will hear them, as I'll refer to them as well. And we're just going to take you one by one through each position and each box. Now, these positions, like a lot of our bar chords and chord shapes, can be taken to any key, any root note. So wherever you're starting for position 1 for the C, when you start at a different note, that's going to be position 1 for that root note, alright? So very, very transposable up and down the neck. So let's get started with the first position of the C major pentatonic scale. Alright, what you're looking at on your screen is the first position of the C major pentatonic scale. So you see, we're playing 8-10 on the 6th string, 7-10 on the 5th string, 7-10 on the 4th string, 7-9 on the 3rd string, 8-10 on the 2nd string, and 8 on the 1st string. Now, let's go back and look, and remember, we're going to pay attention to the fingering here, because the proper fingering is super important when you start playing these boxes and moving up and down the neck, because what it does is it prevents you from having to rely on using 2 fingers and going all over the place. It's much easier to just keep the movement across, using the same fingers for the same frets on different strings as opposed to jumping around. But you will see in this scale there's something called a position shift, and that's when you do move one finger up or down just to get in better position to play certain licks or to move on to the next position. So let's take a look back at that scale diagram now. And we see for that 8-10 we're using our second finger for the 8, the 4 for the 10. We're using our first finger for the 7, our 4 for the 10. Then we're using again our first finger for the 7, 4 for the 10. We're then using the first for the 7 again, and our third for the 9. Now here's the position shift. We're using our first finger for the 8 and our third finger for the 10, and our first finger for that 8 on the 1st string. Now, you'll see the 6th string we play the 8-10 with our 2nd and our 4th finger. On the 2nd string we're playing the 8-10 with our 1st and our 3rd, and again it's just to set up kind of, little sort of things that you do on those strings, something, like this. Or to move on to the next box. It's just a little easier to use, which is why we implement the position shift. So let's have a listen to this position forwards and backwards before we move on to the second. So here we go. So there it is, our first position of the C major pentatonic scale, on to position 2.